Good afternoon, my dear students of Standard 7th. You know it very well that we had begun history's first ever topic, sources of history, and we had concluded the last lecture till written sources on page number 2. Some part of the written sources is left incomplete, so we have to begin with it, the written sources. See, when it was this period, many travelers from other countries came to India. It aroused their interest, it aroused their curiosity about the rich culture of India. So these travelers, in the numbers of many, visited to India, and some of these travelers have written travelogues or accounts of their travels. The meaning of travelogue is an account of their travels, means how they began their travels, where did they end up their travels, and what was their experience of traveling is written, and it is known as a travelogue. Some of them are Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Nicolau Manukki, Babar's biography, Sri Shiv Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Shivaji Maharaj composed by the poet Paramananda, as well as various other biographies of different rulers and their correspondence help us to understand the policies and administrative systems of the rulers and their diplomatic relations with others. Now, I have told you that many travelers visited to India, they wrote their experience in a travelogue. So, which are those travelogues? Now, Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Nicolau Manukki, these are some of the foreign travelers. They have written their travelogues. Babar's biography is also written. Sri Shiv Bharat, or the Sanskrit biography of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, was composed by the poet Paramananda, and there were various other biographies of different rulers and their correspondence. Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, Nicolau Manukki, these are some of the travelers. The biography of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is written in Sri Shiv Bharat. It is written by the famous poet Paramananda. These biographies and their correspondence help us to understand what were the policies of those rulers, what was the administrative system of kings and emperors of the then time. We also came to know the diplomatic relations of these rulers with other kings and emperors through these biographies and travelogues. Tawarikh or Tarikh means the sequence of events. Tawarikh or Tarikh means the sequence of events. Tawarikh. Tawarikhs written by Al-Biruni, Ziauddin Barani, Maulana Ahmad, Yahya bin Ahmad, Mirza Haidar, Bhimsen Saxena are available. What is the meaning of Tawarikh? Sequence of events. So, such sequence of events is written by Al-Biruni, Ziauddin Barani, Maulana Ahmad, Yahya bin Ahmad, Mirza Haidar, Bhimsen Saxena, they are available with us. Bakhar is a type of chronicle. Bakhar. Bakhar is a type of chronicle that is originated in Maharashtra. This Bakhar or chronicle came up in Maharashtra. Chronicles help us to understand aspects like the contemporary political happenings, linguistic transactions, linguistic or a give and take of languages, cultural life, social conditions, etc. What do we understand through Bakhar or chronicle? Bakhar or chronicle helps us to understand aspects like the contemporary political happenings. Political happenings, linguistic give and take, cultural life, etc. Many of the chronicles in Marathi were written many years after the events had occurred. In fact, all these events or happenings took place many years before, and after those many years, such chronicles or Bakhars were written. As a result, now they are seen to rely on hearsays. Means, what we read from the Bakhar or chronicles cannot be termed as true or untrue, but we have to read it. We have to put our trust on it because it is written some years after the actual happenings of the events. Some of these chronicles are Mahikawatichi Bakhar, Sabhasad Bakhar, Chitnisachi Bakhar, Bhausahebhachi Bakhar. These are the names of the chronicles or Bakhar. You may underline it if you have a textbook. So what are the chronicles? What are the Bakhars? Mahikawatichi Bakhar, Sabhasad Bakhar, Chitnisachi Bakhar, Bhausahebhachi Bakhar. The works of contemporary Western historians. The works or the writings of the Western historians of that period like Robert Arm, M.C. Sprengel and Grant Duff are also important. Which were the historians? Robert Arm, M.C. Sprengel, M.C. Sprengel, Grand Duff. Grand Duff. These were the contemporary historians. So, we have begun with written sources, travelogues. Tawarikh means sequence of events. Bakhar is a chronicle, and contemporary historians. Now, we have to learn about oral sources. So, let us see what are oral sources and how do they help in making the sources of history strong and rich. We understand various aspects of folk life. You live in a village or city, so if you have holiday from 7 in the morning till 10 at night, you come to know various things happening around you. It is known as aspects of folk life. Now, you get to know something about people's life through folk literature. Folk literature means poems, songs, ballads, stories, novels, travelogues written on people. It is known as folk literature. Now, this folk literature are people's writings passed on from one generation to another generation. Some examples are ovis, folk songs, povadas, folk tales, legends and myths. Which are examples? Ovis, folk songs. Ovis, folk songs, ballads, tales and legends. These are the type of sources and they are known as oral sources. All these sources are known as oral sources. How history is written? With the help of the 3 types of sources mentioned above. 3 types of sources have been mentioned above and I think you also know them very well. Which are the 3 types of sources because of which we know history? Even after it has been written down, research on it goes on continuously. Research is on. Research whether it is a fact or a hearsay is going on. New sources and information come to light through this research. What happens? What do we come to know through this research? New sources and information about history come to light. Then history has to be rewritten. After new sources are found, after new sources and information has been found, history has been rewritten according to those new sources. Now we can see that our history books and those of our parents and grandparents differ to a certain extent. We can see that our history books and those of our parents and grandparents' books have huge difference with one another, because whenever we secure new and authentic information, it is updated in the new book of history. Now the last point is evaluating the sources of history. Evaluating the sources of history means judging or surveying or inspecting the fact which is written in the sources of history. It is necessary to take certain precautions. Some strict measures should be applied before making use of these sources, because we have to examine their authenticity. We have to check whether the sources of history which new to us are true or false. We have to check the authenticity. Whether they are real or unreal, we have to see. It means we have to evaluate the fact of the sources of history and see which are genuine and which are fake. Some sources are genuine, some are fake. We have to inspect them. Their quality can be determined with the help of internal standards. We can check the internal standards of these sources, so we come to know the quality of those sources. We also have to study the integrity of the writers. We have to check the thoughtfulness. We have to check the thoughtfulness and union of ideas of the writers, their personal interest. What are the personal interests of the writers? The personal interest of the writer may affect the writings of that particular writer, so taking the personal interest of that writer is also very, very necessary. The period in which the writer was living, and was there any political pressure on the writer while he was writing some information on the sources of history? All these things should be taken into consideration. It is also important to see whether they rely on hearsay or give an eyewitness account. Some of the writers relied on hearsay. Hearsay means somebody has informed the information to the writer, he did not check its authenticity and he wrote it in his book. That is known as a hearsay. Means somebody has said it, but he who has told this information to the writer also doesn't know whether it is genuine or fake. So, each and every corner of the sources should be checked. We need to consider the exaggeration. Sometimes an overstatement is made while writing the sources of history. Sometimes the news is hyped up. It is exaggerated. It is overstated. Means the news has some limits. The news or the sources of history has some limits. The sources of history has some shortage and limits, but those shortage and limits have been crossed by the writer, and it is known as an exaggeration. Metaphors and other literary devices they use. Whether the writer has made use of exaggerations, metaphors and other literary techniques. Now their information has to be verified with the help of other contemporary sources. With the help of other contemporary sources. With the help of other contemporary sources, writers' written materials or sources of history should be verified to check its authenticity. The information may be one-sided. Sometimes it may happen that the writer is in favor of a particular person, so he has written the prose of that person. The writer is in favor of a particular person, so he must have written the prose or good things of that person only. Bad things or cons are not written, so this information is known as one-sided information. So we have to pay attention to this one-sided information also. It has also to be seen in a proper perspective. From right angle, from right approach, it should be seen whether the information was one-sided or what. The sources have to be subjected to a critical analysis. When the writer has written very carefully about the sources, but those sources on which some information is written should be judged or analyzed. Proper analysis of the writings of the writer, proper analysis on the writings of the author should be done. The author's impartiality and neutrality. The author's impartiality and neutrality are very important in writing history. What is important? Writer's impartiality and neutrality. Are important. The author's impartiality. He treats each and everyone with equal regards. No one is treated with more favor. No one is treated with more favor even though the person is wrong. It means the author treats each and every aspect and person with equal regards. It means he is impartial. So, the author's impartiality or transparency in behavior and writing is very important. It makes the sources of history dynamic. So, my dear boys and girls, today in sources of history we have learned something about oral sources. In oral sources we have learned folk literature, odes, folk songs, ballads, tales and legends. Then research and evaluation of sources of history. Contemporary sources should be verified for their authenticity. Then, while concluding the chapter, we went on impartiality and neutrality of the author because it is very necessary to make the sources of history and the treasure of history rich and genuine. So, with this statement, I declare this topic, sources of history, is over. Now, I would advise to you to go through the uploaded video very carefully 1 or 2 times. Read the points which I have written on the blackboard. Enlarge the points which are written over there. These points will definitely help you to understand the topic in a better way. After that, you have to solve the questions below. They are complete the names of the following sources of history, and you can complete this question by reading the topic very carefully. Until and unless you have read out the topic, you will not understand how to solve the questions properly. So read it and then solve the questions. Question second is, let us write. See, what do monuments include means the particular thing which is expected in the question should be written. Question 3 is find the odd man out. Next is explain the following concepts: material sources, written sources and oral sources. I have explained it. Go to the point. It is written in broad: material sources, written sources, oral sources, and write information in about 5 to 6 sentences or more than that in each of the point. Then write why in your words. Suppose the question is, a stone inscription is considered to be an authentic source of history because you have to write down the answer. First, if you are writing the answer of question number 1, then the statement should be written. You should write, A stone inscription is considered to be an authentic source of history because, and after because it will start your answer. This way you have to write down all your answers properly. Your handwriting should be neat and tidy. Take care, because after it has been checked by the concerning subject teacher, you have to maintain your SST notebook throughout the year for better understanding. And if you read it properly with your legible hand, you will understand what is your writing, and then only you will be able to write the answers properly in the examinations. Thank you and good day.